Hi, so the aim of this video is to think about what is going to be the last raid of Legion. We are as certain as we can be that it is not Antorus which is coming up. The reason for this is in a recent interview, Ian Hazakostas was asked directly about more raids. We sort of know we need more content definitely after Antorus because of the time it will take for the next expansion to come out, which by the way has not as yet even been announced. We're not expecting that announcement until like 5 or 6 weeks time. And what he said to that, instead of a flat, no, this is the last raid, he said there's not going to be any more big raids. And he also said there's also not going to be any more Ruby Sanctum type raids, in other words, one boss raids. So that leaves the way clear for a 3 to 5 boss raid, such as we've already had this expansion in the form of Trial of Valor. Another one like that. And also thinking about what Trial of Valor was, it was, as Blizzard said, finishing off a story that started in Stormheim. So I was considering what sort of stories these could be. And I've said before, and I was saying it again in my stream, that High Mountain has a number of stories that haven't finished yet. I was also pondering the possibility of extending Argus, but I don't think they will do that. Apart from anything else, as I've already said, the zones are not designed to allow you to fly around in them. And I can sort of see that Blizzard can keep a lid on the flying debate if it's just one patch. But if they keep us there for the rest of the expansion, it's a bit like they've only just given us flying. Some people have only just got flying. Having to go to Argus now, you can't fly at all. If that's where we now are for the rest of the expansion, there's going to be hell to pay. So that's not likely. It's back to the Broken Isles. I was also considering an extension of Val'sharah. Val'sharah didn't actually have a lot of questline in it. Anyone who's sort of leveled us through these zones knows that it doesn't take you very long to level through the Val'sharah storyline compared to the other zones, for example. And also with the Emerald Nightmare being very Old Gods related and the next expansion being heavily tipped to be Old Gods related, it might be a nice way to pick that back up and run with it. So I was musing over this on the stream, and this theory I'm about to expand, by the way, I take no credit for. It was nothing to do with me. Apparently it was someone on Reddit. Unfortunately, it seemed to be quite a while ago and I can't track it down. If anyone can, I'm quite happy to post a link to it in the description below, but I don't know what it is. Someone was saying in the stream that someone on Reddit had thought that it was Neltharion's vault. Now, this immediately appealed to me because I think, yes, there is a storyline that could definitely be extended. I all felt at the time that it wasn't quite finished, or you didn't have to do that bit to do the main. I know it was all part of the Hammer of Kaskaroth thing, but you didn't have to do it quite in that way. What was the Neltharion thing? You could do more with that. Maybe they're going to. So what is the evidence for this? Well, first of all, as I say, we sort of feel that we need another. There's going to be another raid. Not that we need one. There's going to be another raid. And it surely should be on the Broken Isles. So that means it has to pick up on a storyline, just like Trial of Valor did from our levelling experience. Then, apparently, according to the person who first came up with this theory, as relayed to me by someone on the stream yesterday, it's to do with a map in an order hall. Now, before I go through the details of that, I'm going to say straight out here, as I went through this in my Tuesday talk yesterday, got to the point where I was almost 100% convinced of it. I was, let's say, 95% convinced that this person is a prodigy. They've seen something, and I've thought, yes, this is it. This is Blizzard telling us. But now I'm not so sure. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through what the evidence is, and then I'm going to spoil it all for you at the end and sort of suggest that maybe it's not at all. So stick with me. So being a Paladin main, I instantly went, because the person in the stream didn't say which order hall, specifically, but I'm a Paladin. I went to the Paladin Order Hall, and this is the map, the scouting map in the Paladin Order Hall. And what do we see? And this is really interesting. So we can see it's a stylized map. Like, this map is not an exact copy of the maps of the Broken Isles you see in other classes' Order Halls. They're all sort of stylized after a point. But we can see in the northwest area in Val'sharah, across roughly where Emerald Nightmare would be, the first raid. On the far east, we can see in Stormheim, at least on the right landmass, where the Trial of Valor is, which was the second raid. We can also see where Suramar is, Suramar City indeed, where another cross is, well, that's Nighthold. Then we can see a cross on the Broken Shore at the north end of it. That's where the Tomb of Sargeras is. There's another cross on this map, and it's in High Mountain. And it's in High Mountain at the end of the river that runs from Stormheim. Or more specifically, it runs from High Mountain through Stormheim. That's where Neltharion's lair is. It's also where Neltharion's vault would likely be. Are they giving us an indication that the final raid is going to be Neltharion's vault? Which could see the introduction of Rathian again. This is very, very plausible. Not only do you look at all these crosses and go, yeah, yes, do you know what? Yes. But also, Rathian did actually feature in the alpha as part of the quest line, which was now taken over by Ebonhorn. Rathian does actually appear. They changed the quest a bit. Whether because they were just trying something out for later, or whether they just changed their mind, I can't say. At the time, I just thought they'd changed their mind. But maybe Rathian is going to make a comeback. That sort of makes sense, and he could lead into... Remember what Rathian's motivation is. It's to save Azeroth, protect Azeroth. He hasn't turned up to help us fight against the Burning Legion, but maybe he's preoccupied with what perhaps is the greatest threat, which is the Old Gods, if indeed they are the threat that we supposed they were. So it all starts to fit in. It means this would make sense. It is a storyline that can definitely be extended. It didn't really feel finished. It could mean the reintroduction of Rathian, which could lead into the next expansion. That's what we'd ideally like of a last raid, something that leads into the last expansion. It's on the Broken Isles. There's room for it there. It's all starting to fit. And then the map, and you go, oh, this is it, isn't it? Unfortunately, before I did this video, I had a quick look on some of my other characters. I haven't looked at every single class's order hall, but let's have a look at some of the other maps. Now, I looked at my rogue map first of all. Now, here we can see a dagger. Now, someone did mention a dagger. I think this is maybe what the Reddit person was talking about. A dagger in that same place. Is that an indicator? You've also got a cross roughly where Emerald Nightmare would be in Val'sharah. You've got a cross in Stormheim, but that doesn't seem to be where Trial of Valor is. That seems to be a completely different place. So it's starting to come off a bit. And then in Asuna, you've got another cross. Well, what's that supposed to be? So now I'm looking at this and thinking, if I was looking at this map, then the person who was explaining this in the stream yesterday wouldn't have convinced me of anything. It's like, no, this isn't happening. So then we look at a few others. I looked at the Death Knight map, which I now realise I've taken at 90-degree angle. So, yeah, that's great. Again, there's an arrow pointing to Val'sharah. It's not quite pointing to Emerald Nightmare, though. There are two arrows pointing to Stormheim, so what's that supposed to mean? There's a cross on what might be the Broken Shore. This is a map that I can't even picture as the Broken Isles, because this is even more broken than the Broken Isles are. But I'm certainly not seeing anything that's going to convince me that this is indicating that there is a raid in High Mountain. Then we look at the Druid map. The Druid map has nothing on it. Obviously, Druids are not great cartographers, so we can forget about those instantly, which is just as well. I really hate going around the Druid Order Hall. Complete nightmare of a place, if you'll pardon the expression. Then we can look at the Shaman Order Hall. Well, there's a cross in High Mountain. It's nowhere near Neltharion's lair, even given the stylized nature of these maps. There's not a lot else on it. There's a marking in Val'sharah. Maybe that's supposed to be Emerald Nightmare. It's sort of where it might be. There is a cross at the top of the Broken Shore, you know, to Masigos. But where's the cross or indicator for Nighthold? Where's the indicator for Trial of Valor? They're not there at all. So it's starting to now look like a bit of a coincidence. And then you look at the Warrior map and it's like, well, that tells us nothing at all. That's completely useless. That's just like a globe. So, but you come back to the Paladin map and it just looks so perfect, doesn't it? Are they just trying to tell us Paladins? Are we the chosen class? We sort of know we're not. So I'll leave it for you to decide whether or not they're actually trying to tell us something here, and maybe the other classes order halls are red herrings. Bear in mind, I haven't looked at every single classes order hall, but I did look at a few, as I say, just hoping to see some clarification. I'm not seeing it, so now I'm not so sure. What do you think? Comments below. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and share for further content. And until next time, I'll see you later.